What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Acklon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you. I want to apologize right off the bat. I'm a little bit sick. Actually, I'm a lot sick. But this theory is so cool that I really wanted to share it with you guys. So if this is a little bit more low energy than usual, I do apologize for that. I'm going to try and be as quick about this as is humanly possible. But yeah, I woke up today and I just started looking into the Farak fight, the dialogue of the Farak fight, and basically everything that's happened up until now between Farak and Vyranoth and the aspects and that entire story. And I have some very interesting, some questions, but also some speculations. So firstly, let's just very quickly recap what exactly is the Incarnates after. What exactly is it that the Incarnates were fighting for? Now, if the War of the Scaleborn is to be believed, and we have no reason not to believe it, then the original battle, the thing that started everything, was a disagreement between the aspects and the Incarnates as to the Titans and Titan involvement on our world. The aspects obviously accepted the rule and the power of the Titans wholeheartedly. Originally, the Incarnates were more than okay with this. They were fine as long as all dragons were given a choice, and no dragon would ever be forced to accept this power. From the perspective of the Incarnates, the power is limiting. The power limits who they are, and rightfully, they were probably a little bit afraid of some manner of control that could be exerted of the Titans. So they were a bit more wary of the Titan gifts. The Aspects, on the other hand, completely embraced it and believed that without this power, they would never be able to fulfill their sacred duty, which is to protect and defend Azeroth. Now, based on the lore, and at least the reading of the lore, the basic fundamental tenets of both the Aspects and the Incarnates appear to be exactly the same: to save and safeguard Azeroth against any and all threats. Now, that's not to say that all of the Incarnates share this one goal. We already know, and again, thanks to the World of the Scaleborn, but also just thanks to in-game dialogue in World of Warcraft Dragonflight, Iridikron had his own ideas. And eventually, according to the lore at least, Iridikron fully, wholeheartedly embraced the war. He, at some point, stopped caring about saving Azeroth and instead just wanted to watch everything burn. He appears to believe that, and not everything, he somehow doesn't seem to be interested in the destruction of Azeroth or even life on Azeroth, but he seems very interested in the destruction of all things Titan. And we already know that he struck terrible bargains towards the end. Based on the most recent information we have, those bargains may include very, very big deals with the Void. Of course, I think Iridikron is going to learn eventually that the Void never loses. It's like a casino. The house always wins. The problem with the Void is they see so many different outcomes and they think so far ahead that, and they're so corrupting that even if you believe that what you're doing is for the right reasons, by the time you finally get to do the thing that you thought you were going to do, you'll be so corrupted that you'll be doing the thing the Void wants you to do. Nalfarian learned this because Nalfarian didn't by accident. He didn't just join up with the Void because he wanted power. He joined up with the Void because he saw a true threat that he could not deal with. And as a result of this, he required more power than what he possessed. And rather than going to his brothers and sisters and asking for their help, he turned to the Void, this constant nagging voice that promises great power. Now, the same is probably true for someone like Iridikron. But even then, the Incarnates, their original charge at least, is exactly the same as the Aspect. They want to defend and protect Azeroth, but they and the Aspect have very different ideas of what that protection would ultimately look like. Now, everything has sort of played out according to, I think this expansion had very few curveballs in how things played out. Whenever an enemy was introduced, it was pretty cut and dry where that enemy was going to go and how that enemy was going to end. But even with that said, there's still some very interesting things. So in the voice lines of Farak, there's specifically one voice line that really stood out to me as questionable. And I'm still not done thinking about this one, but it was interesting enough that I thought we have to at least discuss it. It's the voice line where he speaks specifically to Marithra, and he says, "Keep dreaming, little one. Your mother is not here to save you." Now, in this, I want to make one thing clear. He doesn't say your mother isn't here to save you now. He doesn't. The way he structures the sentence does not appear as if he's saying your mother isn't here at the present moment to save you. The way he structures the sentence, the way the sentence sounds to me, is your mother did not come back for you. Even though your mother claims that that's why she's back, that isn't why she's back. Now, that immediately has to raise a number of very interesting red flags here. Like, why is Ysra back then? If Ysra didn't come back for Marithra, if Ysra didn't come back, maybe not wholly, there can be multiple reasons why someone does something, right? So Ysra may actually be back, in part at least, to see Marithra succeed, but we won't know what Marithra's or what Ysera's true intentions were, why Ysera was actually sent here. We already know that Ysera shares a much deeper bond with death than what she shares with life. In fact, she rejects becoming the Titan. She believes now that she is connected to death and that she serves death. I've always found it very interesting that the forces of the Night Fae and of Ardenweald are actually in this fight. They're in the Emerald Dream. They joined up for some reason. I mean, this is the first time ever that we've seen the forces of death waste their time at all with any threats. Why didn't they come to help in Legion if they were really so bothered? Now, some of you, the astute among you, would say, well, in Legion, they didn't know yet that they were going to go to the Shadowlands. And maybe that is right. But of course, in the lore, we have to speak about these things very differently. The fact that they've never interfered in the inner workings or the mortal workings of Azeroth, and now suddenly they have this world tree, and as we've discussed before, this world tree, in my opinion, is incredibly dangerous, because this is the first time ever that we have a world tree that is connected to Ardenweald. It has the souls of the dead inside of it. It was birthed by Elune, and it grew inside Azeroth, inside the Emerald Dream, which gives it insane amounts of power, but also makes it very difficult to kind of ask, who is the owner? Like, who exactly is this tree loyal to? Now, I don't mean that the tree is going to get up and start walking around and fighting the good fight on behalf of their master, but all things in World of Warcraft tend to have a master, and the master tends to be the one that benefits more than anyone else from the object or thing that belongs to them. So the tree is definitely a questionable thing. What did Ysera come back for? We've asked this before. This has been a nagging question on my mind, because Ysera hasn't done anything in this expansion. Remember, we offered up Malfurion in order to get Ysera, and everyone thought, wow, this has to be an incredible story that they have planned, because why else would we be here? And it turns out no, really no story planned. Ysera didn't return for anything. What she did do, she could have done from Ardenweald. She didn't have to come back in order to show Marithra where the temple was, because that's pretty much the only thing she did the whole expansion. But what if that isn't the only thing she did? What if she did far more than that? What if we are going to find out that Ysera's whole reason for being here is to tie Ardenweald? Remember, there's a back door from the Emerald Dream into Ardenweald. This is a vulnerability within Ardenweald, within the Shadowlands, because there is a back door, and the Nathrezim are well aware of this door. But what if this world tree has the ability to feed power directly into Ardenweald from the souls that it hovers? Remember, world trees are incredibly interesting and incredibly powerful. They connect directly to Azeroth. Their power appears to stem directly from Azeroth, and now we know that they can even empower dragons. So clearly these world trees are ridiculous in their power forms. So much so that the Incarnates wanted to control this one. They never wanted to destroy it. Keep that in mind. Fyrakk wanted to use this tree. He wanted that power. He says that in the cinematic.
Remember your brilliant plan. Open the way to the temple. Then the tree will be yours.
Yes. And once I take what is mine, my foes will perish in flame.
He says, I go to claim this power. They wanted the power within the tree. And I'm starting to wonder if the Winter Queen, who is sus as hell, by the way, I've spent the whole of Shadowlands saying, I do not trust the Winter Queen. She looks like a shady bitch to me. And I'm starting to think I may be right. Like, she may actually be working with Ysra to tie the Emir Drisel to Ardenweald, thereby basically completely circumventing the Arbiter and the natural flow of souls in order to empower Ardenweald directly. Now remember, Ardenweald has this tree inside of it as well that powers the Maw and may in fact actually power Zereth Mortis as well to some extent. So this may be yet another way for Death to lay its hooks even deeper into Azeroth. But then there's an even deeper little nugget that I quickly just wanted to throw out there that I think is necessary to at least keep in mind. Vyranoth, after having that conversation with Fyrakk, leaves, and she's like, nah, I'm done with this. This dude's nuts. I'm gonna go warn Alexstrasza, and then I'm gonna go chill out with a mochaccino somewhere on the beach, right? I'm just gonna chill and set this one out. Of course, she goes to Alexstrasza, and Alexstrasza's like, this is no time for mochachinos. What are you doing? We need you in the fight. Come join us again. And Vyranoth's like, cool. I'll phone Starbucks and cancel my order, right? And she's now joining with the aspect. But she got what she wanted, which was the power from the tree. And I've known this for a while, but I've not put two and two together in that way. But yeah, Vyranoth, out of all of the Incarnates, is the one that got exactly what they set out to get, which was the power of the tree. What if this is still all part of Iridikron's plans? Remember, Iridikron wants power enough so that he can stop the Titans, so that he can kill the Titans. What if this was always their plan? Sacrifice Razageth in order to free them. Sacrifice Fyrakk in order to gain the power of the tree. And then combine the power of the tree with the power of the void in order to kill the Titans. In my mind, that makes sense. But alright, man, I'm sick as hell. I'm not feeling great. I think I started this video with a different theory in mind, and somehow over the course of 13 minutes, the theories ended in a completely different spot. But I still liked it, so hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. I apologize that it is low energy. I do not feel well. To all of the patrons on Patreon, thank you so much for your monthly support. $1 a month, guys, keeps the channel free from sponsorship, so go support there if you haven't already. It's cheap as fuck. Yeah, whatever, right? I'm gonna get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, peace out.